Hi guys, so we're looking at the problem set for lesson 10 in module 3. And let's see, in your math book, I'm flipping page 103, but I think it says that in the slide deck. For each of the relationships described below, write an inequality that relates the rational numbers. Okay. 7 feet below sea level is farther below sea level than 4.5 feet below sea level. That's Charlie. So below means -7. And I'm comparing that to negative, so I'm going to go like this. -7 is less than -4.5. Then I don't need to put labels or anything. 16 degrees Celsius is warmer than 0 degrees Celsius. So 16 is greater than 0. I'm going to shut the door just so we don't hear Charlie as much. Okay, then I'm going to go to number 3 that says 3.5 yards of fabric is less than 5.5 yards. So 3.5 yards, it says, is less than 5.5 yards. That's true. Okay. 4 says a loss of 500. So a loss is going to be negative, and then it's 500. So I'm going to write that in. Is worse than a gain of 200. 200 is positive in the stock market. A test score of 64 is worse than a test score of 65. And a test score of 65 is worse than a test score of 67.5. I'm trying to think if we're saying like percent. So 64 is less than, 65 is less than 67.5. That would be the highest score of all of those. In December, the total snowfall was 13.2 or 13 2/10 inches, which is more than the total snowfall in October and November, which was 3.7 or 3 7/10 inches and 6 15/100 inches, respectively. So therefore, we've got 13 2/10 inches, and that is greater than, then we had 6 15/100 inches, which was greater than 3 7/10 inches, okay? For each of the following, use the information given by the inequality to describe the relative position of the numbers on a horizontal number line. So they're just saying which is to the left, which is to the right. So on my number line, I would have, so here's my 0, then I have -1/10, and then I have -2/10 on that number line. So the 2/10 is further left than the -1/10. So this is to the left, further left, and this is to the right of the -2/10. Okay. So then we have 8 and 1 on my number line. Here's my 0. Here's my -8 and 1/4. And here's my positive 8 and 1/4. So I could say that 8 and 1/4 is to the right of -8 and 1/4. Or, yeah, that's fine. And then if I have, here's my 0, here's my -2, here's my 5. I'm just drawing out number 9. And I could say the -2 is to the left. I could either write that here, or I could write it here. Close off. Okay, so I can say that this, I keep hitting the deal. This is to the left This is to the left, and this one is to the right. To the right of 0. I mean, if I'm talking about placement. And then negative 99, if I had a number line, here's my 0. Here's negative 99. Here's negative 100. So I could say negative 99, negative 9, I'll write it over here. Negative 99 is to the right of negative 100. Or I could say negative 100 is to the left of negative 99. Okay. Then 11, I'm looking at negative 7 and 6/10 is less than negative 7.5 is less than negative 7. Okay, so I could say negative 7 and 6/10 is to the left of negative 7.5, which is also, and this is to the left, negative 7.5 is to the left of that negative 7. And I also could say negative 7 is to the right of negative 7.5, and negative 7.5 is to the right of negative 7 and 6/10. So to me, this is a little confusing. You know what? I would rather just draw it out. But anyway, okay, here we come to that part. We have 3 integers between negative 4 and 0. So it's got to be someplace in between here. So I could say the smallest would be negative 3, negative 2, and negative 1. And I'm just doing integers, so they're whole numbers. Then 3 rational numbers, so this means they could be decimals, between 15 or 16 and 15. So I could have 15 and 3/10. I could have 15 and 6/10, or anything in between, and 15 and 7/10. You could choose whichever. They just have to be decimals between 15 and 16. 3 rational numbers between negative 1 and negative 2. So I'm going to go negative 1 and 9/10, negative 1 and 55/10, or 5500, excuse me, and negative 1 and 2/100. And there's not one right answer. Know that. The last one, 3 integers between 2 and negative 2. Well, I could have negative 1 is less than 0, which is less than 1. Okay. And then let's see. I think that's it on that page. And then you're ready for your exit ticket. That was fast.